July 2004. Life goes on. Picture framing, reading books, whatever else I may have been doing in July of 2004. We don't care about the picture framing. That's all in the past. These books may be in the past, but books live forever. So let's talk about that. I have no idea what I'm saying. Let's just jump right in. The first book I read in July of 2004, Sandstorm by James Rollins. This may be the last James Rollins book that I read because it is the first of the Sigma Force books, which I saw as James Rollins jumping on the Da Vinci Code train, and it was fine, but what we have here is the main character is Painter Crow. He's a member of Sigma Force, which is a group that finds ancient, powerful artifacts and keeps them safe. There's an explosion in a museum that triggers a rush to find one of these items in a place known as the Atlantis of the Sands. So, a mysterious place that's disappeared, but instead of in the water, in the desert. So Sigma Force are the good guys. There's bad guys looking for it as well. It's a thrill ride, but I just preferred Rollins' earlier stuff. So if anybody's read the Sigma Force books, should I read more? I mean, I have tons of stuff to read already. Is it worth me going back to the Sigma Force stuff? Let me know. It's not a bad book by any means. Sandstorm, James Rollins. Next up, we have a mix of fiction and nonfiction. It's a book that I have, but it's behind 4 book carts. I didn't feel like digging it out. And this is The Forensic Files of Batman by Doug Mensch. And this is presented the way one might think by the title. It's kind of short stories. It's the files of Batman. So most of them are written by Batman. There's some that are by Commissioner Gordon, some that are by Alfred. And they're different cases that Batman has solved involving, his rogues gallery of villains, which of course is the fictional part. But it delves into actual forensics. And there are maybe huge isn't the right word. There are sections that are excerpts from actual nonfiction books about different forensic techniques. So it's an interesting way to learn about the forensic sciences in a general way through the eyes of Gotham City and Batman. It's a fun book. When I looked it up on Amazon, the price that came up initially, $127, I think it was, $128. But then once I clicked on it, that's like the paperback was 120 something. You could get the hardback for 20 or 30. I thought that was crazy. I have a first edition hardback. But yeah, The Forensic Files of Batman. It's a fun little, interesting mix of fiction and nonfiction. Again, you can learn something through the eyes of Batman. After that, we have Angel, Solitary Man by Jeff Marriott. And this is about a little old lady. Named Mildred Finster, who decides at the ripe old age of 70 something that she wants to become a private detective. She wants to solve mysteries like, all her favorite characters in the cozy mysteries she reads. And she sees a business card for Angel Investigations. Oh, that sounds so sweet. So she goes to them, hoping to help them out on a case or two. They're busy. They got their own problems. But then there's a bunch of, I think, antiquities stolen. And she decides she's going to solve the mystery. Angel and his crew don't care about it until some killers arrive in town. And Angel and his crew get involved with this little old lady, dogging their steps to try and help solve the mystery. I feel like there's a twist. But anyway, just a fun little novel set in the world of Angel. Angel, Solitary Man, Jeff Marriott. Hopefully I have this information correct. Next up we have Rift by Richard Cox. I believe this is his first book. And so our main character is Cameron Fisher, and he's bored with his life. He's bored with his job, bored with his marriage, bored with everything. And he's about to be fired when his boss offers him $5 million to help with the human trials on the latest technology of this tech company, which is essentially teleportation. And he's, hell yeah, I'll do that. So he's, I forget where the two different offices are located. I think Phoenix is the receiving point. So let's say Los Angeles. I don't remember. But he gets into this thing in Los Angeles, and then all of a sudden he's in Phoenix. They want him to stick around for a couple days so they can, poke and prod and test and everything. But he's going out with a buddy, and things aren't quite what they seem. Suddenly there's people trying to kill him. And so it's a question of, what did this machine do? Did he simply teleport from one place to another? Is he in a different dimension, an alternate dimension? What the hell's going on? It's interesting kind of stuff. I like this kind of thing where we have this, this thrilling mystery sci-fi adventure where we don't know. One of the blurbs mentions the Matrix. So did he really teleport? Or is he just inside a computer? What's going on? Frankly, I don't remember. But The Rift, just Rift by Richard Cox. After that, we have The Darkening by Chandler McGrew. And in this book, all the electricity, I think, in the world goes out. Things get dark. And even the sun seems like it's getting darker. And so we have, on one coast, the United States, basically we have this karate instructor. On the opposite side of the country, we have this lady who's a private investigator. And they are there's this mysterious group that seems to know what's going on. And they're going to bring these two together because they're necessary for saving the world from cosmic horror, maybe? There's some horrific things. This is a horror novel, an apocalyptic horror novel. I don't remember too much about it. So if I ever find a copy, I'll probably pick it up and maybe give it another read because it sounds interesting to me. And I like the cover. The Darkening, Chandler McGrew, apocalyptic horror. There you go. Then we have Skinny Dip by Carl Hyacin. And our main character in this is Chaz Perone, or our main antagonist. Chaz Perone, he's a marine scientist, but he's crooked, essentially. And he fakes water test results, something like that, so that this company that pays him can keep dumping illegally, basically polluting, and he's faking the test so they can get away with it. His wife finds out about it, is going to turn him in, so they're on a ship, and he pushes her overboard, but she doesn't die, and so and she's found by our actual main character, who's part of this whole Skink series that Hyacinth wrote. And the wife decides to stay dead and just fuck with her husband and mess up his life. Um, so typical Hyacinth hijinks. Skinny Dip Carl Hyacinth. He writes fun stuff. All right. Then a book that I didn't have to dig for. Next up, we have JLA, Justice League of America, Exterminators. Right? Is that what that says? By Christopher Golden. Holy moly. This is part of a whole series that I think all of the books are supposed to be interconnected. But there's 3 before this. If I can tell from here, it looks like Batman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. Then there's this one, and then Green Lantern, and then Superman. That's what it looks like from here. It's weird that the JLA one would be in the middle if they're all interconnected. But anyway, when a mass outbreak of superpowered individuals threatens the world, the JLA determines that latent metahuman abilities are being triggered by an alien contagion, one that's spreading, and it has to do with an alien invasion from the team's earliest days. Christopher Golden, great writer, and despite the fact that we only have the main 5 here, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, and Superman, the main 5 on the cover, there are plenty of other characters. Just flipping through real quick before filming, I saw Black Canary is in here. So, really fun superhero stuff from generally a really fun author. So that's JLA, Justice League of America, Exterminators. Excuse me. The penultimate book for July of 2004 was Dream Park by Larry Niven and Stephen Barnes. The first of I think it's a 4-book series. And it's an amusement park or a theme park kind of thing that's like the holodeck in Star Trek. It's virtual reality, holograms, actors playing parts. So maybe a mix between like Westworld and the holodeck. And, so this is the vacation destination. Then there's a murder. So head of security, Alex Griffin, has to go into the park, into this world, and solve the murder. So just fun sci-fi mystery with all sorts of crazy stuff. Anything and everything can go on because it's this sort of virtual reality, 3-dimensional real world / virtual reality world. So fun stuff. I don't know that I read any others in the series, but Dream Park, maybe someday if I have the time and I run out of other things to read, maybe I'll read this series. Dream Park, Larry Niven, and Stephen Barnes. The last book that I read in July of 2004 is Dragon Precinct by Keith R.A. DiCandido. And this is the first book in a series that is basically Law and Order in a fantasy world. Or NYPD Blue in a fantasy world. Pick your police procedural in a fantasy world. So in this big city, big fantasy world city, different races, magic, all the stuff. There's a hero. Think, I don't know, one of the heroes from Lord of the Rings. Not one of the hobbits, like one of the elves. Or Aragorn. One of those guys. I don't know. He's visiting the city. He's friends with the king and queen. Well, he ends up getting murdered in the middle of the dragon precinct. And so our two detectives, I think one's a half elf, one's an human ex soldier. They have to solve the mystery. It's a murder mystery, but there's different fantasy races and there's magic, which can mess things up. They can't find any evidence at the murder scene, but the king and queen are on their ass to get it solved, and there's a magical uh, the Brotherhood of Wizards or something, I can't remember, that wants to come in and take over the investigation. So kind of like if you've watched any again of these police procedurals, whether it's movies or TV, where the local cops are always trying to solve it before the FBI is going to come in and take over the crime, um, take over the investigation. It's fun. I like these mashups. Regular viewers will know this. I actually have a trilogy. I think there's 3 books uh, of something like this that I haven't read yet. Um, I found these books at half price books and decided to grab them because I like this kind of thing where you've got, again, it's normal detectives. One's a half elf, but a murder mystery, something like that. But it's not in New York City. It's in someplace weird. So I love paranormal detective stuff. Give me some sci-fi mysteries, some fantasy mysteries. I've got some books that are kind of like noir, but the detective is a robot. I like that kind of stuff. I like this kind of stuff. Dragon Precinct, Keith R.A. DiCandido. And that is it. That is everything that I read in July of 2004. Excuse me. I had a question, and I forgot what it was. So let's stick with the question from the beginning. Have you read any of the Sigma Force books from James Rollins? And should I read the rest of the Sigma Force books from James Rollins? I'm not 100% sure this is the only one I read, but I feel like it is. I feel like it was, again, nothing wrong with the book, but it just felt like hey, the Da Vinci Code made a ton of money. Let's create our own version of that. Different enough. Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and Inferno, is that one of them? It's not this government organization. It's just the one guy. But essentially, I don't know. It just felt like this. Brad Meltzer's stuff just tried to make money off of the Da Vinci Code phenomena. So let me know if you've read them, if you think they're worth my time, or if I just need to keep rereading the old James Rollins stuff when I'm in the mood, because I love that stuff. Yeah, that's all I've got for you. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. Try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you care to follow me on other social media. For now, I am still on Twitter. It's at Ronan5757. On Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, fuzzy animals. It's Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K. ERIKSMITH 5757. And on Bluesky, where I'm going to have to start posting more, sort of shift over there from Twitter, it's at EL Smith. And that's all I have for you this week. So until next week, read more books.